Time is a tool we put on the wall or wear upon our wrist. The future has yet to happen. The past doesn't exist. What's the time? It's 9:15. Time to take a bath. But what do you mean? We're already clean. Scrub, scrub, scrub till the water's brown.
Look, I can't complain. I talk about robots a lot. How would it actually be fair if I were to stop you? If you want to sing your disturbing, hypnotic, psychotic song lyrics from freaking weirdo internet videos that are actually pretty good, you know. They're pretty awesome. That means we're the Bittersweet Gamers!
Aren't we squared?
Weird, psychotic, and kind of awesome.
I'll take it!
I'm the Opinionator, and what else is there to say? Mysteries have been resolved, sort of.
And mysteries have also awoken.
The trial's about to begin.
The last class trial. He said that, right? He said last class trial?
There's probably going to be another one.
Well, if this one turns out to be a sham like the previous game.
Yep. Yeah, I heard it too. He really did say it was the last class trial.
What do you think? Should we believe him?
Monokuma seemed anxious about the Monokuma timer earlier, right?
And if he did actually tell us that when that timer's up, the games are over, then we could just not kill anyone.
Yeah, but that when the timer's up, I mean, you're right. Obviously, that would be the right thing to do. And if it literally just ended and we all got to walk away at the end of the timer, then yeah, everyone has been a damned fool.
But that would be a highly optimistic viewpoint.
But I mean, I'm pretty sure when he says the game's over because something horrible happens. 2 more days? And he said something about the killing school trip ending, right?
Based on the time limit, this might definitely be the last one.
But still...
But I can't imagine that it's the real end.
Huh?
Aren't there supposed to be 6 chapters in this game instead of just 5?
What?
I think Monokuma's real plan might be, you know, the climax, just beyond that.
His real plan? You mean like he's setting us up? This is just wasting time until the real show starts?
Not wasting time, but...
Is Monokuma still planning to make us do something? What could it be? Maybe, after putting us through all this, he's planning to kill the remaining survivors all at once?
I doubt it works entirely like that, though I guess that could be the result.
Well?
It's... Monokuma 2 is not Monokuma 1. Does not talk about the same thing, just seems to use the despair as like a backdrop, an excuse.
Kind of poking fun at it a little bit?
Maybe not that, but maybe. So I have no idea. No freaking idea whatsoever. If there's some weirdly ideological reason that, like the one that Junko had, this person doesn't share it.
Right.
But still, it's also not a good idea to think about it too much. I think I'm thinking too much. Hey, it's just like BSG. We should focus on the class trial that's waiting for us first.
You're right.
We have no idea what's going on, though!
Class trial for Nagito's murder? We're pretty screwed. I haven't collected my thoughts because we were so focused on this file.
We haven't collected our thoughts because we were so focused on this file.
I still can't see who killed Nagito.
But still...
Well, you don't have to worry so much.
What? I feel like I should.
Maybe the way it's going to be a sham trial. Because it makes sense that Nagito is the important stand-in like Mukuro, you know?
Yeah.
Or stand-in for Mukuro. We might come up with who did... The result of this trial might be who did the torture, but not the killing. Not the murder. And that might be the sham.
Right?
I mean, we're not fighting this alone, you know?
Well, that's true. I can rely on everyone else.
After all, there's everybody who's watching these videos, too. And if worse comes to worse, they'll tell us if we need it.
That's pretty meta, Chiaki.
Oh, sorry.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Hey.
We're not alone. Even if it's a mystery that can't be solved alone, as long as everyone cooperates and works together. Yeah, if we do that, things will turn out fine.
That's a little too blindly and madly optimistic. It's not that that's not a good thing, but if you just say, yeah, as long as we just all work together, things will turn out fine. then
It'll all work out in the end, right?
that's what's gonna get you. But in order to actually succeed, you do have to do that. I mean, kind of paradoxical, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Damn right.
It's just so empty. Looks like everyone's here.
Huh?
Huh? Is this it? Shouldn't there be more people?
Damn it.
Stop it. Even Daymon started with this. You're making me depressed.
Stupid fool.
You're making me depressed! Actually, I don't have recorded voice lines, I just parrot the last thing that I hear. Except that was a recorded voice line.
Don't worry, Minimaru. You'll never be depressed ever again. Not as long as you're with me. Here, I'll hide you down my boobs. Kazuichi! What did you put in there? So, it is going to happen again. The cruel conflict where we must doubt our friends.
But once we're through with this, we can go back, right?
Well,
Last trial?
that isn't necessarily what it means.
That's right.
That Monokuma bastard said so, didn't he? He said this is the last class trial.
Damn it.
But we've been tricked every step of the way. There's no way I can believe that so easily.
Of course not.
Why can't you believe it? The guy who's making us do all this is the one saying it, you know?
How can you be optimistic about any of this crap? Look how few of us there are left.
It's all I have left.
You know, right?
That's why I'll definitely survive.
Huh.
If we could really go home after we deal with this class trial.
You know, that's kind of like Yasuhiro. I really thought it was a touching moment in the first game when Yasuhiro, after all the idiocy and goofing around that he did the whole time in the last trial, he was like, I want to live.
You serious up?
I mean, it was the end. It's fascinating that Kazuichi says that. It's like, no, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna get through this. I am gonna get through this. And I appreciate that.
I'll definitely find out who the killer is, no matter what. Even if I have to pull out all the stops.
What the fuck? Why are you here?
She's always here.
Not like this.
That's true.
Is she actually going to go in for real? Is there something she's been hiding?
That could help. You haven't realized it yet? That feeling of wanting to leave this island? Thinking like that is Monokuma's trap, you know.
Huh?
What are you saying?
Got it?
There's no way Monokuma will end things here.
I believe you.
He's planning something far worse. Stop trying to jigsaws!
I'll beat you up!
Damn right! Stupid rabbits that you can't even eat because they're made of cotton and metal should just shut up!
Everyone, you mustn't run away from despair. What? I've finally realized, after losing my powers, I've realized that cursing your powerlessness or your fate accomplishes nothing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. What have I been shrieking about the entire time and listening to that meaninglessness was just enraging.
The possibility may be small, but as long as there's a possibility, you must face it.
It doesn't mean that you're gonna win, but if you have to go out, wouldn't you rather go out struggling, fighting, doing your best instead of cowering?
Yeah, you don't just roll over.
At the very least, that's what I firmly believe.
In order to become someone who can be proud of yourself. So I will fight!
Huh?
Well, don't let us down. And
Is she going to actually contribute to the trial now?
maybe she will. After all, she's in the e-handbook. I mean, she's like, as a teacher, I guess.
Right.
Well, Monomi, can you make up for all the BS? Probably not, because all this is your fault, but, you know, helping to actually win against Monokuma, that'll go a long way.
Well, she better, because that is her fault. If she's part of the Future Foundation and the reason, even if she hijacked us all here for some benevolent reason, that's still what allowed Monokuma to take over and start the killing games.
Yeah, and she's still lying to us the entire time about everything instead of trying to end it here. Or, I mean, end it with everyone.
Yeah!
What's her deal? I do not really know, but she seems different from before.
And I approve. Maybe she read a self-help book. Wasn't that cackle kind of evil?
If it's that easy, why haven't you read one of those yet?
Wait.
But her eyes. She looks so determined. You think maybe she's for real?
What can you tell just by looking at those button eyes?
Well, a lot, actually. Aren't you good with machines?
Anyway, make sure you turn off Minimaru. It'd be annoying if he started talking during the trial.
No way, it'd be great! Oh, fine.
But still.
Somehow, I understand what Monami is saying, I think.
Anyway, let's get going. To the last class trial.
Yep.
You're right. We need to fight as much as we can, no matter what hopeless truth awaits us in the end. Agreed completely. In order to become someone who can be proud of themselves, huh?
This is the end. I kept saying those words to myself over and over within my mind. I entered Monokuma Rock. Jeez.
Yeah.
This elevator ride. This would be the last time for this too, right?
Hopefully. I hope so.
Well,
Let's worry about things like that after we're finished.
you are right.
More importantly, we must focus on the class trial before us.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we still need to figure out.
Yes, there is. The last time we came in with literally no idea about the method was the gravel in the swimsuit.
Yeah.
The killer managed to kill someone like Nagito. There's no way this is gonna go smoothly. I mean, I still can't believe one of us was able to do that. That torture. Nagito was problematic in many ways, in many serious ways, but he was also a valuable asset during the trials.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, during the Funhouse ordeal, we were completely dependent on him. But even if he's gone, the ones who've survived need to stand and fight. We must fight. And then, the door slowly opened. This bright light greeting us? Is that the light of hope? Or the light of despair?
Huh. Well, this one's interesting.
Well now.
Very, very different setting. I kind of appreciate it.
Yeah, different feel to it.
Well then, and now that chatterbox Nagito is gone, there are only 6 of you left.
Shut the hell up!
Enough. Just fucking start this already.
Hey!
Hey, this is it, right? This is really the last class trial, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it sure is. In your dreams. So, you gotta show some enthusiasm and make sure you give it your all.
So what you're saying is this isn't real, right?
All right!
Didn't I tell you? He said it. This is the end.
And she's not tied up, huh? And now then, let's get this trial started!
Killing!
This is the last class trial! Let's show some enthusiasm and kill each other!
Good lord.
That's not really what we're here for.
I mean,
I guess it is, actually.
kind of is, yeah.
You could say it like that.
We're here to kill or whoever killed Nagito, and they're here to kill us. This is the 5th class trial. According to Monokuma, this is also the last class trial. That curtain is about to rise. Nagito Komaeda, the ultimate lucky student. When I first met him, I thought he was a nice guy. He came across as very sociable. And then he wasn't. But his true nature held such a demented thought process that was nothing like his outward appearance. He said he believed in hope more than anything else. He said he was yearning for a powerful hope that can overcome any despair. He said he would even help despair just to prove that hope will never lose to despair. And he said he'd become a stepping stone for hope. His way of thinking was completely screwed up. But there were also times he saved us, too.
I suppose you could say that is what he has become at this point, but...
Someone like him was killed. That was the end of him. And I have no idea at all who did it, but... There's no way we can end this without knowing.
On this screen, half of the people who are still alive are here, meaning on the next few splash pages.
We will be consumed by despair. That's why we absolutely have to find out. The person who finished off Nagito. The killer who murdered Nagito. It was Akane, because she's on the same screen as me! There you go, Daymon. In order to return from this despair alive, we need to reach the truth. And if Monokuma says this is really the last class trial, that's all the more reason we need to do this.
What if it was the ultimate imposter? See, if everybody thought he was dead... Well, okay, I have no idea how to reconcile that part, all right? I have no idea how you would fake your own death, but he's the ultimate imposter. He faked being Byakuya even though he was fat and did it believably.
That's fair.
Okay,
that's
so
fair.
let's just put like that step 3 question mark and skip right to profit. Okay? Wouldn't that be an interesting twist if it turns out that it was somebody who faked it the whole time?
You know, that might account all the times we run into someone and they were acting weird. If it was him posing as someone else.
I don't know about that. It would just be it would definitely be an out of nowhere plot twist. And Monokuma, like, say, would have allowed the first trial to go on because, why not?
Oh, that would mean Teru died for nothing.
If that were the case, yeah.
And so, this life-threatening trial billowing with hope and despair, the last one, has begun.
Here we go.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial.
Last one or not, at the very least, we are near the end.
During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it.
Nagito's ex is more bloodied.
Yeah.
If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person...
And Gundam's is heavy and dramatic in a fancier font.
I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island.
She's not hanging up either.
But she's also not participating at a stand.
Yeah.
Oh my, Monami? My cute little sister? You're awfully quiet. What's happened to you? You've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the moon? Because you're a rabbit?
Or you were hit by a extending staff and sent to the moon by a kid with a tail.
Incidentally, I guess this also means that Monomi is no longer going to get sucked into his pace.
Yeah.
Would you suppose she's going to return a fighting game or a fighting anime technique?
That'd be pretty awesome if she did.
Chesto!
Or not.
Chesto!
Oh.
You took it this time.
One more time! Jeez! How about this one?
He's repeating all of them.
Moero! Ore no Cosmo! It's so fun to do. It's kind of hard. Took me some practice.
It's useless.
Please stop. I feel bad for Monomi.
You're right. Now's not the time for me to horse around with Monami. The class trial has started, after all.
And she's finally standing. Well, I wish she would have done that from the beginning.
The victim this time is Nagito, who was attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake. Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
Oh, you know who did it!
If he was killed for trying to reveal the traitor...
You don't suppose that he doesn't, do you? Oh, of course he does.
The camera's everywhere!
That traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
You know, if somebody would have been killed in Nezumi Castle, Monokuma wouldn't know. He could probably figure it out pretty easily, though. With surveillance footage.
Yeah. There's only one way in or out of it.
No, that might not be it.
I agree with Kazuichi here.
Huh? Are you trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger.
Unless she did. Unless it was Chiaki who just walked up and said that's the end and slid her card. Maybe...
And the reason it didn't work is because Nagito couldn't actually rig up something that elaborate.
Or there was never... Or no matter what he said, that's not what it did.
Wait. Don't tell me you're the traitor.
Don't say something so stupid. There's no way in hell I'm the traitor.
Now that's more like it. Why don't you guys hurry and start arguing already?
Although if I wanted to have something be a real surprise, I probably would make somebody like Kazuichi the traitor. Someone who is maybe ultimate imposter style, or just with a personality that's so not suitable for it that it's like nobody would inherently ever suspect.
Yeah.
It's like in VLR when you see K, and you know most of the cast is like, you are the most suspicious person here, and I was like, he is the least suspicious person here. He is a god dang guy in a robot suit. There is no way he's doing anything bad because that's so horribly suspicious.
The traitor and the killer who murdered Nagito is here, right? Are they the same person? Or...
How can we already have something about this? It's got to be Monokuma's account, right?
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
That can't be right.
That's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place.
Yeah, we're gonna use the account.
If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
Says the Yakuza member.
It's believable, though. Okay, what were the two agree points?
To find the location of the bomb.
Okay. We were just assuming it would be Monokuma's account.
Yeah.
So we'll look again at what we have.
Do you remember what they were?
No, we didn't look either. And there's a lot of points. So we might be going through this one like 3 times in order to get everything there. Like to know what we've got and what's present. We need to pay attention to the truth bullets that we have, and nothing seems to make sense in terms of the truth bullets that we have. What about remembering whoever found the bomb first and agreeing with Fuyuhiko, I found it by coincidence? That's the truth, isn't it? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
If we're wrong, so be it. So let's just do that instead of navel-gazing. And then there's that. And Hajime, our sort of hint was, were those wounds really caused by torture? I agree with that, but do we have something that can prove that he was not tortured?
I don't think we do.
Do they want us to do torture wounds on Nagito was tortured? I don't see how that makes sense.
Because torture wounds disproves torture wounds.
Well, there might be some detail that we don't have about it. Look,
Well, isn't it a little strange that the stab wounds are only on one arm and both legs and not...
No, they're on both legs. The arm is a laceration.
Oh, yeah.
What's strange about that? You can torture whoever you like. I mean, I agree. I don't think... He wasn't tortured to death.
Right.
That part we know. It could be that there's something really basic that we have completely failed to grasp, and that's why they're trying to ask that immediately.
So we can establish it early on.
I mean, apparently, I don't know. I don't see how else he would have gotten these wounds. In the truth bullet, at least with the current truth that we have, it's safe to assume that the wounds on his legs and left arm were caused by the knife.
Right.
So why would there be a knife all over him and then stuck through his hand if that's not torture? So it's not the knife.
Can't be the knife. I think you're onto something. I think it might be the torture wounds on being tortured.
I don't believe it, but do it anyway, just so we can find out. It's right at the beginning, so it won't take much time.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
Yeah, okay, good. I was gonna get pretty angry. Yeah, exactly.
I can't see how that's something we have to dispute.
But then Hajime was like, were those wounds really caused by torture? Well, they weren't caused by lighting him on fire. He wasn't lit on fire. What about the duct tape? That doesn't...
But wouldn't the duct tape indicating his mouth moving indicate that he was screaming as he was being tortured?
What about remembering whoever found the bomb first and shooting it and agreeing with Sonia's hiding place? Okay, and again, Monokuma's account is just about the bombs being fake.
Yeah, and no one else, and he never told anyone.
Yeah, nobody knew the bombs were fake except for Monokuma and Nagito. Monokuma knowing the bombs are fake doesn't affect why he was
tortured. No.
Because somebody might torture him for the location of the bomb because they don't know the bombs are fake.
Yeah.
That agrees with it, not contradicts it. That isn't what we believe happened, but...
Could it maybe agree with hiding place? Like, yeah, someone would torture him to get the hiding place of the bombs because no one else would know. So they're saying that they tortured Nagito to find the location of the bomb, right?
And that isn't true, but that's what they're saying.
How could he tell them where the bomb was
because of the
if he
duct
had
tape.
Duct tape on his mouth?
Because indeed, we weren't thinking of it along those lines. We had to start from the beginning. Got it.
Okay.
He was trying to talk, but it wasn't working.
The killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's
Yeesh.
body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured...
Booyah!
No, that's wrong.
Woo!
But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything.
We were just moving ahead. We thought that him dying and the other stuff aren't related. So it's just like we hadn't thought about how to address this point because we had never considered that this would be a point.
Yeah. It's kind of like, at least for me, I was thinking more of the points and not their context with the rest of everything else.
Yeah.
Like the rest of what everyone else was saying. That was my problem, at least.
Yeah, whereas in my case, I was just elsewhere, and like establishing the absolute basic facts is always how it starts.
If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like that.
Anyway, what it means is yeah, we know.
Right.
We know that this is not real, so at least we knew it wasn't real.
I'm prepared.
Yeah, take that. Time for a sword fight.
I just realized it. It's a trap.
I don't know, I'd give Kazuichi the advantage here,
Why?
because he's bigger.
I thought you were going to say because he's a shark.
Trap?
Stupid Hajime. You got caught in that trap.
Oh yeah? I got caught in the mastermind's trap you're about to say? Stupid? You don't get to call me that, Kazuichi!
Okay?
I don't know what he's trying to...
Yeah, it's kind of a lot here.
Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you'd obviously assume he couldn't talk, but that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention, this is how it went down. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location.
Okay, what do we have?
Then, after they killed him,
Bomb's location after they killed him.
taped his mouth shut.
Oh god!
Whew, that was close, you guys. Thanks to me, you guys didn't get caught in the trap.
He said if he listened to me till the end, I wouldn't have to repeat myself. So I must have to use duct tape again.
And got information about the bomb's...
Yeah, duct tape. Duct tape takes care of that, doesn't it? Yeah, because the duct tape proves that the blood that was splattered on his face.
The duct tape was on him before he died because he was moving.
Yeah.
So it's against after they killed him.
Yeah.
Okay!
Pay attention. This is how it
Goodness,
went.
there's
First,
so many
the killer
freaking
tortured
points.
and got information
We're
about
having
the
to
bomb's
write them
location.
down.
Then, after they killed
Sonia!
Allow me to cut through those words.
I'll do it the rest of this whole trial if I have to.
There's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
What did you say?
Who cares about the duct tape? We might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors.
Akane! Are you trying to kill us all?
We don't need to play a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
And that's coming from the Ultimate Gamer.
Why do you always side with Hajime? Do you have a crush on him or something?
Hey, I mean, what are you talking about?
Are you in elementary school or something?
It's all he thinks about.
You
Which
were with
makes
us when
sense.
I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
It wouldn't have been a big deal if there wouldn't have been
The
blood all
on
over his
came
face.
from his arm wounds. Which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so he wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
It's just like the music player, I guess.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer?
Remember... Oh. What
Yeah?
about that?
What'd you notice?
Nothing related to the case whatsoever.
I saw the look on your face and I was just like, ooh, what's he got? What's he got?
It was one of those epiphany moments with the look on my face. Do you love how we keep talking about all the things that we are physically doing? Okay, what was I saying about maybe he was the ultimate imposter? Have you figured it out? Have you figured it out?
But
We know that the traitor is not. The traitor had is not a Hope's Peak student and had their information forged.
and we don't know what his name is, so he has to go by Nagito.
Well, no, hold on. And we know that there is. That's jumping ahead.
Okay.
We know that the traitor's entry was completely forged by Monokuma and is not a student at the school. And we know that there is a student called the Ultimate Imposter
Yes.
who has a deep grudge against Nagito. This is what made me think of it. Well, kind of Hajime, right?
Yeah, especially with the reserve corps
The Ultimate Imposter forged entry in the records. Who are we playing? Are we playing the Ultimate Imposter? Nobody here has a really deep grudge against Nagito.
Except Hajime.
And you can't say that it was utterly meaningless in the last chapter before the trial that Nagito said to Hajime, remember how like in this book that I like it turns out that the point of view character was the killer all along.
Okay, see, the direction I thought you were going to go is that this is the Ultimate Imposter, actually killed by Nagito. Posing as Nagito.
Yeah, I don't think that at all.
Okay.
Now, I'm not so sure I'm right, but that kinda hits a couple of points. Now, the question is, that would mean who is the Hajime? Like, Hajime is the traitor, but we're playing the Ultimate Imposter. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Oh! I hadn't made that connection. Oh my.
That's why, because what the previous line was, the person who killed him had a deep grudge against him.
The one who wanted to get into Hope's Peak Academy, but couldn't.
Because he was the reserve corps student. But the person we're playing
is the Ultimate Imposter!
Now, I still don't know who Byakuya was, and for that matter, how would Hajime have this great grudge against... How would the real Hajime have a great grudge against Nagito? Because the character we're playing, the Hajime we're playing, is the one who started to develop this frustration and this grudge, right? So that doesn't transfer over to the other one. Now, to be fair, when we were being... Okay, and now check this out, right? Check this out.
I'm still trying to wrap my brain around it.
We have two Byakuyas. We have Byakuya and Fat Byakuya, okay? We have two Makotos. I understand Nagito and Makoto aren't the same person, but we have two Makotos, okay? We have Makoto and we have Nagito. So why can't we have two Hajimes? Hajime and the Ultimate Imposter. Now, as for that Byakuya, no. I have no idea. I can't explain that. I can't explain everything because I just had this epiphany. But also,
My mind is blown.
In the chapter where we were told that, about the book and the point of view character. Okay, and we've been suspecting Hajime this whole time.
Of course. So, you don't play one of these games without suspecting the main character.
Yeah, and you know, it's like every time it's kind of like a running gag that we keep trying to come up with some way to pin everything on Hajime. Well, what if we're freaking right? Like, is it a coincidence that we changed the point of view character in the chapter where Nagito tells us the point of view character is the killer? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that has to have some meaning. They didn't just do it to shake things up and to be weird or whatever. There has to have been purpose to it.
Yeah, and I mean, there could be a multiply layered purpose. Now that doesn't help us with where we're going, all right? But that way we have we get a parallel to the previous game again too, because we have a student that we thought was someone else who is actually that real person.
Yeah!
You see, because it's like we thought Mukuro was Junko, but Mukuro wasn't Junko. Mukuro was Mukuro, but there was a Junko.
Yeah.
And that was the person who killed, well, Mukuro, the victim in chapter 5. So it's like we thought there was a Hajime, but there is a Hajime.
So if we are the ultimate imposter and we figure out Hajime did it, we wouldn't get
because this
punished.
Hajime isn't Hajime. And Monokuma told us this when he was saying how deep the ultimate imposter got to becoming Byakuya. But maybe he was lying or something, and I still have no idea how to explain Byakuya. You know, when we had like the open up the door in the very beginning and the computerized stuff, what if that was ultimate imposter ultimately imposting?
This game is the ultimate imposter.
Look, everything that I have to say about this, I just thought of now, and I don't have evidence beyond what I've said, and I'm not necessarily pushing it. But it's like crazed wacko plot twist. There you go. Fuyuhiko, thanks for saying probably had a deep grudge against Nagito, because that's what made me think of all of it. Now, where were we and what's going on? Because I totally don't remember.
We're explaining that the duct tape was on his mouth before he was stabbed brutally, so it wasn't for torture.
Cool story, bro. Sweet. Let's go.
If so, it's friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
That would also mean that the rivalry between Hajime and Nagito is real, just not the rivalry between the right Hajime and Nagito. And the guy that we think is psycho isn't the guy who was actually psycho. That the actual Hajime is some crazed mofo who is the ultimate Hope's Peak fanboy, like we had kind of talked about, like you had said. Who wanted to be here and couldn't, so he's trying to get his revenge on everybody or something like that. And so even though Nagito is kind of crazy,
real Hajime's crazier.
Yeah, real Hajime is the crazy one all along. And you remember when Hajime had that dream? And the dream was like him thinking about how did that guy get accepted into Hope's Peak? How did that guy get accepted into Hope's Peak? And we were wondering if they were talking about Hajime or if they were talking about Nagito, like the ultimate lucky student or something like that. That could be related. And I have no idea how the ultimate imposter imposts. I like how I've made that a word. Okay, that's...
I can see smoke coming out of your ears, man.
Oh, man!
It is going 100 miles per hour.
Even if it isn't this,
that's still a cool idea.
That would be so great.
Remember, Hajime's eyes had that 0 to them.
I mean, we even pointed that out.
Maybe that was symbolic not of him being a robot, but of not having anything because he's the ultimate imposter, never being able to be himself. He's empty.
Oh, for octopus. No.
Anyway.
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
Hmm? The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
I mean, there's still a lot of evidence left behind.
We can't think of any other reason.
It seems, look, nobody else could think of any other reason, and that's
Fire
totally
was for the
plausible.
poison.
But we know about the poison
Yeah.
and its chemical reactions.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse.
Yeah. And right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back.
Right where the oil lighter was. That's why they set it up in advance with this Rube Goldbergian thing.
Which means it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
So I guess we're going here next, dealing with the panels and the lighter.
The killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
We're down to the last 6. How about a parallel to the first Danganronpa, eh? Where we're down to the last 6. Now, but that's not the killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking, huh? Huh? Is that true? Is that true? That might be true.
I think it's funny how you had this idea and suddenly a lot of other things are making sense.
Uh-huh.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
And even if I'm completely full of crap, it's pretty awesome, so I'm pretty pumped.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
Of course.
Some kind of setup? Like what?
I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect.
Are you gonna make fun of me now? Maybe have a flashback to when I got blown up?
Man, how can he make those puppy dog eyes?
Alrighty then. Let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
You know, I'll give Kazuichi something else. He is determined.
I hate that man.
Damn right it is.
Sonia's agreeing with me. I could die happy. The reason for the fire, huh? They're right. We need to clear that up first.
Damn that duct tape!
Damn.
Yeah, these are the lighter or the panels.
The
Oh, did you
direct
see
cause of the
Monomi?
fire was
She was all beat up.
the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
Oil lighter against oil
The
lighter!
killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Kind of, yeah.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
No.
Yes.
They probably just threw the lighter.
Panels agreeing with improvised fuse, right?
Based on the shape
yeah.
of that oil lighter, it can stand upright.
I
while
can't
the
believe
flame
you
is
missed
lit.
that.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way,
Screw
it could
you!
have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
Huh?
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Sound waves?
No!
Perhaps opening the door caused
Yes! Panel with the doors!
intense wind pressure to tip over the lighter.
This is good. This is good. They've been very interesting, and like the nonstop debates in this have been interesting, and like lots of interesting things are happening with how the white noise and the stuff is moving around. It's neat. So it's the panels.
The Monokuma panels on opening the door. Because it was opening the door that triggered it.
Yeah. Here we go.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Okay, now here we
Or
go.
perhaps opening the door.
I
Pow!
agree with that.
We usually agree with her, huh? Isn't that funny? We've agreed with her a lot.
Also agree
Huh.
that opening the door is what started the fire.
Just as I thought, it was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan.
That is what one would call the kamikaze, correct?
No!
Damn right it is.
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels.
Jesus, how can it be? That is not gravy at all.
A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right?
And speaking of food, now I want some, like, biscuits and gravy.
It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line.
All the way up to the oil lighter.
Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
Guys!
Fuyuhiko, come on, man.
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
I mean, a bunch of Monokumas facing the ground while choral music is playing, and there's a dead body up ahead is like weirdly symbolic of something. The worshipping despair. But also, you don't have them all in a straight line having fallen over for no reason, especially when there's an item that causes flame at the end and a burned curtain. Are you serious? But anyway, we've established this.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
I mean, that's what they are used for, yes, but that is not how the actual game of dominoes is played.
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels.
But that's where the domino effect term came from.
So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second.
When I was a kid, I had like this little domino play set. It was one of those domino courses that you have to set up and it causes cool things to like happen.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, because I am also old.
It was really fun.
And from there, they felt like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
Okay, let's look at this. Because this is the first time we've really gotten to see things like the distance between the curtain and Nagito, so the rope...
And the Monokuma plushie.
Yeah, so the Monokuma plushie was there, and we see that if the rope was actually, like, okay, those 4 red dots are the pillars.
Yeah.
But the rope on Nagito's right arm had to have been maybe tied to the curtain or something.
Yeah. The fire didn't reach the pillar.
Yeah, so it couldn't have been tied up there. We were thinking he was suspended because there is some blood up there. But how would the fire being there reach the rope if Nagito is suspended up?
That rope would have to be tied in some really weird way.
Yeah.
Or the rope wasn't tied to anything, and they just burned the end of the rope to make it seem like it was damaged in the fire. We're just assuming it was tied to something ahead of time.
Now, that would explain why there was no burn mark or any sort of fire on anything else, but what would be the purpose of doing that?
To make us think that he was tied to the other pillar. Instead of where he actually was.
Which was suspended up above, which has something to do with the mechanism of the spear and the Monokuma plushie, however the heck that works.
Right.
Okay.
Also, if the fire had gotten that close on the rope, he'd have been burned.
Yeah. No. When they found the burned rope, it was remarked upon, why aren't his clothes burned? Why did the rope stop here? So I agree, that's been there the whole time.
Okay.
Like, coming up with some way to explain that. It was not a detail I'd forgotten.
I was just reaffirming that to make sure.
Yeah, it's like that proves that the way we're thinking about it is right. That it was probably done in advance, or correct-ish.
Right.
Because it agrees with everything. I like how this is basically new evidence.
Well, you know, sometimes an Ace Attorney will look at one of these and be like, okay, yeah, and then we're like, wait, no, where's that back? Because we can actually get information out of that.
Yeah!
Why isn't that in our, truth bullets?
Because this isn't Ace Attorney!
Wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
I don't think I want to preside over a trial like this.
Judge?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
But we'd have to be pretty freaking blind, because come on.
And having to, like, push really hard on the door? Certainly the person opening it, if they had to hit it real hard and it was dark inside, wouldn't see something right away.
Yeah.
Eyes adjusting to light.
That's true.
In the middle of a lot of motion, you'd see
and then the fire happens, so that immediately... Okay.
Yeah.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino
And we
effect.
wouldn't hear the domino effect either because of the music.
That's what the music's for.
Maybe.
Well, the music could cover up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Just it was so loud.
It could do everything simultaneously.
Hey, I just noticed something. The Monokuma stands are black and white. Just like dominoes.
Oh, I never thought of that one. Good job. Say, you seem to be someone who feels an awful lot of despair. Do you want to be my friend?
No.
Fine, be that way.
And one more thing.
Wink, wink.
There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
I swear she's about to mention the freaking MP3 player.
And the fire.
The killer did one other thing to hide the domino effect. It's the MP3 player.
Yeah.
Where is it?
I see! You're talking about the MP3 player, right? That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
And it really added to the ambiance.
We knew it masked something, but at the time, we didn't know what.
The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside.
Right, between that and the sound, and then the fire and having to bust through the door.
Everything happening at once. Within that darkness, a loud hymnal blared throughout the warehouse at full volume.
Hey, do you guys hear something?
Of course Akane would have heard it!
Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does Nagito like listening to this depressing crap?
My Chemical Romance or something?
No, I'm not talking about the music. I'm talking about the clatter, 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 clatter.
And as if on cue, it suddenly started.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
You know something? Considering how sharp Ibuki's ears was, it's funny that Akane's superhuman hearing also played such a big part.
She's just
so did Ibuki's. But
yeah, Akane is just constantly super sensing everything with her inherent bestial instinct.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right?
Yeah, Tiarze is something that nobody's going to understand, but I like Dan Kuga.
Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
The big thing in Dan Kuga is bestial instinct.
Oh, okay.
It's robots, I like them. It's fine, I'll open it slowly.
No, that's not the problem.
Seriously, it'll be fine.
With those words, Akane brushed off everyone's warnings and slowly opened the door to the warehouse.
Clatter, 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 clatter. Ah, it's not opening. Time to destroy it. There's something blocking the door. It can barely get open.
I knew it. It's a trap. Seriously, just stop it, okay?
Hey, when did these flashbacks get so long? Remember when they only used to be like 1 or 2 pertinent lines? Now we get like all this ad-libbing and character development and set up an entire...
You're projecting, David.
Hey. Didn't I tell you it'll be fine? I just gotta use a little more force. What happened to opening it slowly?
Akane ignored their protests, and with a mighty kick, the door flew open.
So the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
Those things are pretty sturdy.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter.
Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You know, you're right. What are those things made out of? Some sort of steel cardboard?
Cardboard, the most indestructible of elements.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
But it's a cardboard panel.
It's okay, it's okay.
But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Is that a problem?
Guys, when Chiaki speaks up, there's something important going on.
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
That's how this could be rigged up.
Yeah. If that door was the only entrance to the warehouse...
It means that the killer wasn't in there, because we didn't find the killer.
Yeah. I see. So the problem Chiaki's talking about is...
The killer couldn't have left.
I see! If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Also, you'd have to deal with the fire.
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used.
You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
The person who wasn't looking where they were supposed to? Ah?
You don't mean...
But if that's true, this murder...
Hajime? What do you mean?
Oh, then there's also the fact.
Yeah?
And this could also be where they're going, but I think you're right. Sonia is extremely suspicious here. We don't think it's her, but she's the one who was doing stuff she wasn't supposed to do a whole lot, so we have to address that. But, did Akane kill Nagito?
Like, if that's what triggered everything that killed him,
Then
is she
Akane
responsible?
Oh my god!
Isn't that the worst thing that could happen?
No! That's horrible!
Because that would still count.
I was just joking. Oh no. I was just joking about stuff like that.
That would be the biggest tragedy.
Well, anyway.
And if Sonia knew the bombs were fake, then she wouldn't be concerned about solving it before they went off. She'd have plenty of time to kill Nagito and set everything up.
I don't think that's the case.
I don't either, but I think that's the direction they might be going.
We had the ability in the past to convince Monokuma that... Oh, no! What we convinced Monokuma of back in Chapter 2 was that it wasn't the Mastermind's fault, it was the person that dealt the blow. So by the same logic we already argued, for us to all be alive, it means that the killer would be the person who opened the door and set off the poison. That's how we convinced him in the past.
Because the Mastermind tricked them into doing it.
We can't... What?
Like you said, the one that dealt the killing blow. So if...
Oh, okay,
yeah.
that's what you meant by Mastermind. So, and that, it's like he's gonna throw that, Monokuma is gonna throw that in our faces. Like, you spent all this time trying to, back then, to tell me who it was that was actually responsible. Well, this is who's responsible. Oh, God. Anyway,
Oh, I hope you're wrong. I really hope you're wrong.
That's also something that hasn't happened yet in this series.
The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse.
Anyway, back to where we are, though I am really discombobulated now.
There's only one person who could have done that.
And this is moving fast, isn't it?
Well,
kind of like the original
Yeah.
Chapter 5, I mean, the first game. Nope.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm so distracted. I don't actually know where we're going at the moment. Are they trying to say Nagito?
Oh.
The person can't leave, so the person
Yeah.
who set it up, and a human couldn't have snuck out.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's
yeah.
Nagito that they're talking about. We're assuming that, well... There we go.
This is my answer. What if it was Nagito?
Nobody could have left without the panels and everything.
And if he was the one that set it up, that means that the mastermind behind this murder was already dead.
That
no one could be punished. Except...
No, Billy. We have already established, using the rules that happened with Fuyuhiko and Peko, that the person who does the deed is in fact the killer. What if Nagito set it up so that he would be killed?
Yeah.
That it's not that somebody did it to him, but that he tortured himself, set up a mechanism so that he'd get stabbed with the...
How would he stab the knife through his own hand? With
I don't know!
Okay.
The mechanism, perhaps.
Okay.
So it's like, that's where we're going with this. However, as a Chapter 5 deal, because you remember what happened in the first game, the result of the Chapter 5 trial was wrong.
Well, yeah, it was just an excuse for Monokuma to either get rid of Makoto or Kyoko.
Yeah, and Kyoko is who we wanted to get rid of. So it's like, if we go with the suicide angle or pin it on Sonia or something...
Right.
That means it's wrong. Or something like that.
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know. He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Huh? Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
You also know that this cannot be true based on the timing in the trial. This is normally the case, or normally the point where we establish some of the basic facts and then look towards the suspicious person, but that person didn't do it.
Right.
And it's like, this is the part where everybody kind of...
falls for the trap?
I was going to say, quote, falls for, quote, the trap. But yeah, that's like where we are, which is why you think it can't be this.
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
It's plausible.
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
You know, it still could be that somebody else is involved and like horned in on what was initially intended to go on.
Well, I mean, if it was actual Hajime who is the actual mastermind who did it, he could just have Monokuma pop up, take care of everything, and then pop out. Right?
Maybe, but I kind of...
Oh, but Monokuma did make a big deal about not having fingers, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
It also seems weird for Monokuma to so directly do things outside of punishing a rule violator.
Yeah.
Need to discuss?
Also, I never said that Hajime, that if all that is right, that real Hajime was Monokuma's mastermind.
Oh, that's true. I
never thought that really. Well, maybe he is, but I nonetheless.
Okay, that was just a connection I made. Sorry.
Yeah, but the thing is even if that, I don't want to act as if that theory is true. That is a possibility, but I don't want to be wed to that possibility to the point where I'm looking at everything through through that lens and assuming that it must be the case.
That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
So that's why I say we do need to figure out if there's some way to get out of that door with the domino trap. Yeah.
Like you said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something.
Okay, how he could tie himself up.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Wow, they're everywhere!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
Only one arm was tied.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your
true.
teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
It's burnt rope. We can go through one more time.
Yeah, let's go through that. Let's go through it. I'm sure it's the burned rope.
To actually tie up your own arms and...
Okay, yeah,
That's
good,
wrong.
good.
Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
I mean, the entire premise is flawed.
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
Well, his arm and legs, as soon as we got to see the diagram, we could tell what that rope was for.
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
Yeah, or the fire would have reached to the pillar too, and all the boxes around it.
Yeah, and
then him, of course.
Yeah, the fire wouldn't stop burning at that part of the rope. It's just there's a fire and you see something burnt, and that seems to make sense.
Wait a minute. I think I know how he could stab his own hand.
Well, I mean, all I was thinking, he could throw it up. He's lucky, right?
Monokuma plushie.
Okay, hold on. I do also think that him being, batshit crazy will help him with this other stuff. But
I agree.
But, okay, that could explain the blood on the Monokuma plushie, but we've got to get to the spear, too.
Right. Like, he stabbed it open.
Okay, anyway, what were you going to say about the plushie and the knife?
He stabbed open the plushie, flipped it around, braced it with the plushie, with the handle, then went BAM! Slammed his hand on the sword, or knife, as hard as he could.
Where did he brace it?
With the plushie. Like, he set the plushie down.
Then the plushie would be in between the knife and his hand.
Well, not if he stabbed it and then flung it. Like, with the momentum, flung his arm as hard as he could, and the plushie would go falling off. I think it's possible, anyway.
But there's the handle of the knife.
That's what he sticks inside the plushie, so the blade is sticking out. After he cuts a hole in it, he sticks it handle first, so that it's held up enough for him to slam his hand down on it as hard as he can.
I guess that actually does make sense.
Now, I might be wrong.
Now, we also have to remember that his left arm was holding the cord.
That's true.
And we don't know whatever the mechanism for the spear was. Because it's like, like we know that it was a straight line, like say the blood could have come from the cord on that girder, but the thing up there.
The rafter?
Rafter, that's maybe what I'm looking for. But how did the blood get up there? Where did the blood from?
Okay, yeah. I see
You know,
what
it's
you're
like
saying.
he could have thrown the spear up there, and then he was gripping it, the cord, and then pulls the cord to get the spear to come down to land on him.
Okay.
But again, shouldn't he have thrown up blood? Even if we ignore that, that could get the spear to land on him. Anyway, so he's gripping the cord, he pulls the cord, the spear falls down and stabs him. But what we don't know is where the blood on the rafter came from. So
Yeah,
so
because that would mean that the spear was bloody beforehand, or something.
Yeah, so where did that blood come from? Something about this entire premise has to be wrong.
Yeah.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
The proof that the burnt rope on Nagito's right arm is a trap. His right sleeve.
Yeah,
I
they
see.
specifically brought it up. His
Take
sleeve.
a close look at his right sleeve. Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree?
Okay, all this has gone on long enough. Maybe we haven't exactly gotten very far, but we sure have been talking about a lot of things. Anyway, due to this being Christmas, we are going to miss a week of recording, but the class trial's so awesome, there's going to be a few episodes of the trial to tide you over afterwards. Merry Christmas, I guess.
Merry Christmas. I really gotta hand it to Nagito. He sure set up a complicated scenario.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas from frickin' Billy!
Because that's what everyone wanted. A pun.
Danganronpa. Danganronpa.